Art has been around for over 30,000 years. However, as the world evolves, so does art. The problem is found when, in current society, art is evolving into a secondary concern in the eyes of many educational programs. In this speech, I'll be explaining the role art plays in modern society and why its importance cannot be overlooked. Did you know that 12% of public schools in America offer 0 art classes? This includes theater programs and others. Furthermore, the art classes are always first to go when there are budget cuts to be made. Why is this? Why are subjects like math and science deemed more important than the arts? To find the answer to this question, it is helpful to look back in time. We're going as far back as the 14th century. During this time, much of the world was going through a period known as the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages were a time of little cultural and scientific advancement. How did the world get out of the Dark Ages? Through art. Artists such as Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo helped to spark creativity in the minds of the people again. This creativity led to a boom in science discoveries and new inventions. As you can see, art supports science. Without art, there would be no questions being asked. There would be no ideas being tested. Culturally and scientifically, our society would become stagnant. The 21st century has been full of significant scientific discoveries and advancements. But because of the amount of significance placed on these subjects, our creativity and imaginative abilities as a society have decreased. One example of this is minimalism. Past artworks evoke strong emotions with their use of color and technique. But as many people have pointed out in recent years, current artwork feels uninspiring and unimpressive in comparison. This is easily seen whenever we compare the two pieces of art side by side. For example, here is a beautiful piece of art done during the Renaissance. And here is a piece of art done recently in the 21st century. The technique pales in comparison, and it's not the artist to blame. There is no pressure to be better in art. Instead, art is seen as some fleeting thing be used as a hobby, instead of a way to further your scientific goals. The next point I'd like to make is how art can create feelings of humility, empathy, and sadness in a generation where these emotions are clearly lacking. For example, in 1940, the first cave paintings were discovered. Before discovering these cave paintings, many thought of cavemen as animalistic beings that were closer to behaving like monkeys than current-day humans. But after seeing these paintings, it became clear that these people we thought of as monkeys or animals knew how to communicate with one another and create these works of art. The art they created humanized them in the eyes of our generation. My question to society is, what will historians think of us when they look back on our generation's artworks? Will these pieces of art humanize us or alienate us from future generations? I have been blessed to be able to go to a school where many art programs are offered, and it has become the highlight of my day to go to art class. Why? I'm a great student in all my other subjects, but whenever I go to the art classroom, I'm not great. I have to put work in and I have to think creatively. Instead of sitting in a classroom with 4 walls and reciting notes off a page, my brain has to work to come up with something that it hasn't seen before. I'm not just replicating someone else's ideas. I'm not just filling in a bubble. I'm forcing myself to step outside my comfort zone and create something that wasn't there. How can that apply to other subjects, you may ask? Well, being a mathematician is great and all, but who's going to create the equations? How are we going to solve equations that we've never seen before? How will we create the things like Pythagorean's theorem? That is through creativity, through imaginative abilities. And unfortunately, those imaginative abilities are lacking in a current generation. And so why is the art the first to go when the school needs to make budget cuts? Is it because it is not tested as the other subjects are? Is it because the other subjects might provide information needed for college or the workforce? Possibly. But it has been proven that history repeats itself time and time again. And if we are in another period of the Dark Ages, who will be the one to pull us into the Renaissance? And how will society change if there is no Renaissance? If there is no cultural advancement? If questions aren't being asked and things aren't being discovered?